That's funny. I've I've got a pretty good internet connection. I just want to make a very short video, and thank you for joining me. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Seems like we have a lot to talk about this week. So at this rate, don't expect me to say too much over the weekend. You know, well, you don't know. And matter of fact, I don't even know. Talk about the Nation of Islam so bad, they might try to catch me or beat me up over the weekend. It's real sad that you have people that can dish it out. You know, they can talk about the Jews and what Jews do, write books about the Jews, the secret relationship with Jews. And it's all right for you to talk about whoever you want to talk about and drag them, as you say, attack them, as you say. But when it's your turn, somebody want to talk about you, somebody want to give their opinion about you, then there's a problem. You an agent, you a spy, you a hater, you a disgruntled employee and all this other stuff. Hey, if I can dish it out, I can take it. Now look at here. Now, how many of you been to a graveyard? When I was little, when I was a child, I used to play in the graveyard. And you see those tombstones and the markings where they buried somebody, and you don't know who they are. Most times you don't even know who these people are. You have no idea what these people was about. So you do your research, like they say in the Black conscious community. You do your research and find your information, court records. You try to find living relatives, things of that nature, to try to find out who this person in this grave is, because they are no longer with us. And you just so happen you want to know the man or the woman behind the tombstone, who's buried in that grave. No matter how much you research, no matter what information you find, you will really never know who that person was. The only thing you can do is try to guess by what they left behind. I'm going to say that again. This is fact. Unless you actually knew who was put into that grave, you will never know that person. The only thing you will know is what you can come up with from what they left behind. When so-called black people, the so-called Negro, the African Americaners, the descendants of slaves born in America having African or Aboriginal ancestry, whatever you want to call yourself, when it comes to being an African, when it comes to being an Aboriginal, that is not what you are. And I'm going to show you another reason why that is not what you are. And even if you was, you'll never be again. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, we are Africans and we are Aboriginal for the sake of argument. Because see, many of you, you just ignore the fact that we've been in this country and we were forced to mix with all kinds of other dark-skinned people, Africans with Aboriginals, Aboriginals with Africans, Jamaicans with other people. You know, we mixed it with all kinds of folks. You're just gonna skip all that, ignore. You're gonna skip the fact, these are facts, that mothers was forced to have babies with their sons, daughters were forced to have babies with their fathers, and the Peckerwood, these devil-ass crackers, raped our mothers, raped the fathers. But sister, it's more important about the mothers because she's the one carrying the life. So this Peckerwood raped her for hundreds of years. And then you were made to breed with people outside of your own tribe, your own nation, wherever your original ancestors come from. Everybody on the African continent is not the same. Ethiopians don't look like people from Uganda. People in Uganda don't look like the people in Liberia and so forth. They all have their own different looks, their own type of religions and so forth. They are not the same. The Aboriginal people, it is said that over 700 different tribes was here in North America, and we barely know 5. We barely know 10. They are all gone. And they all, the ones that were forced into slavery under the commercialization of slavery by these Europeans here in America and worldwide, they were forced to mix with people they normally would not have nothing to do with. So in order to be this African, in order to be this Aboriginal, whatever you claim, this crime, looks is not always true. My dog was a half Chinese child, half German Shepherd. My dog looked like a German Shepherd, but she's not. She was a mix. From tongue. They call her mutt. My dog was mutt, mixed breed. My dog was not a Chinese child. My dog was not a German Shepherd. When you mix something, when you dilute something that is supposed to be pure, it is no longer what it is. If you mix vanilla ice cream with chocolate, it's no longer chocolate ice cream. It's not that no more. In order for us to be some kind of African or Aboriginal, we must pass a purity standard, and we cannot do that. You cannot go by looks. A grapefruit is a mix between a lemon and an orange. If you go to the grocery store sometimes and you're looking for a lemon or orange, sometimes you might mess around and pick up a grapefruit because, you know, most times grapefruit is way bigger than oranges and lemons. But sometimes there are small grapefruits, and sometimes they look like they pass off looking like a orange or a lemon. You can't go by looks. A grapefruit is not a lemon. It's not an orange. It's a grapefruit. You are what you are. You are not an Aboriginal. You are not an African. You can get angry all that you want to. It doesn't. I mean, that's your prerogative. But that's not what you are. I'm going to show you again why you're not that. Going back to the graveyard. Going back to the people in the graveyard that you are trying to learn about. You will never learn unless you personally know the person that was in that grave. I don't care how much you research. I don't care how much information you get. You will never really know that person. You can only paint a picture, have an idea of what that person was. You can only work with what they left behind. So when we talk about being Aboriginal, when we're talking about African, there are Africans who are alive right now. There are Aboriginal people who are alive right now. It's very funny. We don't get none. Woo, man. We're not getting none of our information from the people who are alive. We are getting our information from those who have been destroyed, those who are dead that left something behind. And since you really don't know a person in the grave, you can only go by what they left behind. You really don't know them. So you have all these people, I'm an Aboriginal, I'm an African, based upon what was left behind. Because no Aboriginal, no African taught you personally. Nobody taught you nothing. You're going by your research, and they say that. They're going by their research and their information that they are able to dig up out of the grave. And then you manufacture it to make it whatever you want it to be. Nobody, no Hebrew Israelite taught you nothing. If you're a Christian, an original Christian never taught you nothing. If you're more, no original more taught you more. All of this is fabricated, manufactured, what you were able to dig up out of the grave. That's what has happened. That's what you're done. None of this information is coming from nobody that's alive, nobody that is living and breathing. Nobody taught you nothing. These are things that you manufacture, that you make up, that you dug up out of the grave. If you go back in your lineage, you can only go back so far. Nobody taught you. And let's just say, for instance, we are pure. For the sake of argument, you are pure African, you are pure Aboriginal. See, that's another reason why you have to say African, you have to say Aboriginal. Most of you, the majority of you, cannot be specific because it's made up, it's manufactured. You don't know. If you actually really knew, specific, so you just put it out there. You say, well, I know I'm Native American. I know that I'm an African, but you can't really say what people you come from because it's manufactured. You're not pure. If you was pure, that means the connection to your ancestors was never broken. I'm going to say that again. If you was pure, the connection to your ancestors was never broken, so you know exactly who you are. But you and I both know the connection to your ancestors, whether it's African or Aboriginal, was broken. And it has been broken for generations, not for a few days, not for a few months, not for a few decades, for generations, for hundreds of years. So you go into the grave and you dig up what you can find. That's what you do. But y'all don't mind doing that because y'all love dead folks. Y'all like going to graves. Y'all like talking about dead folks all the time. You give people that's alive a hard, Brother Malcolm and Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner. You love dead folks. But those who are alive, you give a hard time. You like digging and playing in the grave. I guess that's one of the reasons why the Peckerwood called us Negro, because another word for definition for Negro is dead. And then in Spanish, they said Negro means black. Dead black ass folks, I guess. So has been destroyed. I'm going to say this again. For the sake of argument, You are a pure African. You are a pure Aboriginal, whatever. That's what y'all believe. Okay, let's just say, for instance, that's what you are. You're pure. We know you're not, but hey, you know, each is that's what you want to believe. So be it. Your problem still clothes or whatever. These are names. And that person, to my knowledge, except only in the world of fiction, nobody has returned from the grave. Once something go into the grave, it does not rise again. Aboriginal or prove that you're African, those are the remains. And it's gone, have returned, and just some remnants of them still exist today. The Roman Empire was one of the greatest empires on this planet. It don't exist no more. But if you study Europeans, the Roman influence is still there, but Rome is gone. It's over, y'all. You're looking for something that is dead and gone. You want to try to return to something that no longer exists. And I don't care how much you want, it's never going to come back. Life, as our ancestors knew it, is over. There's a picture that I saw of a Native American person sitting on a horse looking over the land, because it was symbolic, because this was the last time he was gonna know life as he knew it. Life as he knew it was over. You want to try to return to something, first of all, you don't have nothing to do with it. You are generations and generations far removed from that time. You don't have nothing to do with it. You want to try to go and return, bring back something that is dead. It's not going to happen. That's over. Let it go. We look silly. We look so silly trying to be something that we're not. Trying to raise the dead back to life. Somebody that you don't even know. You never knew your ancestors. Not even close. You don't know nothing about it. You're digging at bones and dead hair and skin, skeleton. You don't know nothing about it. We have become our own unique people. Just like those people in Europe, they are still influenced by Rome, but they are their own people now. Wherever you find them, you will see that Roman influence all throughout Europe, but they don't call themselves Romans, and they're not trying to dig up the bones to try to be Romans again. You're trying to be something that you're not. You are the great pretender. I don't care if you actually knew their culture. You are not them. They lived a whole different way of life and did not go through what we went through. We developed after hundreds of years into our own unique self. And we look real crazy trying to be somebody that lived in 1492, 1592, 1692, and so forth. You are not them. And we need to stop trying to be them. Accept your own and be yourself. You don't have to be a Negro. You don't have to be what the slave master created us to be, but you have to learn how to embrace yourself, love yourself, and be who you are. You really don't have too much of a choice, because you are not an Aboriginal. You are not the African, the original ancestors. You're not that. You're not even trying to be what these people are in modern times. There are many Africans right now. You want to be an African? Pick one Pick one on the continent and try to be like that if you want to be an African. That's the only way you're going to be some African. Well, actually, you still can't be an African. Your children can be, but you are what you are. You and I, we are the so-called Negro, the African Americaners, the colored people, whatever you want to call us. That's what we are. We are a unique people created by chattel slavery, by the 300 years of chattel slavery. And anybody on this planet know you're not an African. Anybody on this planet know that you're not an Aboriginal. I don't care how much black power, I don't care how much that Native American stuff that you talk. Anybody that look at you, listen to you, and see how you carry yourself, they can see that you're not that. And you're only fooling yourself. I'm not going to fool myself. I finally come into the knowledge and recognize things just how they are. And I want to, matter of fact, I'm proud of us how we are. Ain't nothing wrong with us. What you shame of? There's nothing wrong with us. Well, we came from slaves. So what? It's not about where you come from. It's about where you're going. Are you going to stay a damn slave? That's the question. Are you going to stay living in a cave? That's the question. Not where you come from, where you're going. Filled with self-hate because I reject trying to find bits and pieces of raggedy clothes and skeleton bones, trying to be something that you never was, trying to be your ancestors that you never knew, who had a whole different way of life than you do. And you know, and I know that you don't even want to live the way they used to live in 1692, 1492, 13, whatever, 01 or whatever. You don't even want to live that way. You used to living with gas and electricity and cars and stuff like that. Y'all need to stop fooling yourself. And just and get out a lot of land. Yes. You establish the one identity that we all need to be up under. Something that all of can be under one umbrella so that we can unify as one people and become one true people. You cannot become a people, you cannot unify when everybody is trying to be a black Muslim, everybody want to be a Moor, everybody want to be Hebrew Israelite, whatever, all this different stuff that y'all got going on. Makes us look crazy and confused. I'm an African, I'm an Aboriginal. Make up your mind what the hell you want to be. Me, myself, I don't care. If you want to be an African, I will accept that. If you want to be an Aboriginal, I'll accept it. Just make up your damn mind. Confused ass. That's why I chose a label that came from our ancestors. African and Aboriginal are terms and labels that was actually created by your damn enemy. None of our people, ancestors, called themselves Aboriginal or African. They did not do that. These are labels and terms that came from their conquerors. That's why I chose soul, because it came from our ancestors, from what they knew. And from soul, I can work with that and embrace that. And under the umbrella of soul, you can infuse all of these things. You can be a soul brother, you can be a soul sister, and you can still be a Hebrew Israelite, a black Muslim, Christian, agnostic, and American, whatever the hell you want to be. But we identify ourselves as one people under this one umbrella that encompasses all of it that give us soul. And that's something our ancestors left us. Our modern day ancestors, many of them are still alive right now to this day. You talking about somebody that lived 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, whatever. What about your ancestors that, hell, some of them probably living in your house right now? 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. This is what they gave us to work with. And you shame of it. Oh, wow. All this intelligence that you claim that you have, but you don't know how to work with nothing. You run around trying to copy. You are a copycat, trying to copy some people you don't know nothing about, digging in the coffin. I don't have to dig in coffins. I'm alive. I have vision. I'm creative. I have my own imagination. I don't need to go back and dig up somebody out of the grave and try to pretend I am them. You are the great pretender. I mean, if that's what you want to do, keep pretending, so be it. But don't come around me, because I'm going to let you know you just pretending. You just faking the funk. You are not, we are not Aboriginals. We are not Africans, never have been. And even if we were still pure, we're still not them. It's over. It's done. Their reality is over. It's dead. And there's nothing that you can do can bring them back to life. Nothing. It's over. How many civilizations, how many people have been here that we don't even know nothing about? It's over. They're dead. It's gone. Now you're living. How long you want to live? Copying. Copying dead folks. Civilizations that's rotten. The only thing of that civilization that is left is some damn rocks. A few pieces of paper, maybe. Some cloth. And you don't give a damn about the living. I feel sorry for us. We're not going to make it like this. You're still thinking like a slave. Because anybody that is alive have their own mind. You trying to get the mind of somebody that don't even exist no more. Y'all nothing but grave robbers. All of you. Anytime you talk about the information from the past, this is not to say that you can't be influenced by things in the past and you can't use things from the past, but y'all grave robbers. You want to be just like the ones that's dead and gone. It's over. They were unique individuals. They were unique people. They are gone. There's only one Michael Jackson. I don't care how good you imitate Michael Jackson, how you sing, how you make yourself look like Michael Jackson. You're not Michael Jackson. It's over. Our brother Michael Jackson is gone now. And that's the way y'all look. Trying to dress up in costumes and try to talk like dead folks. What you think? You're trying to, like the Hebrew Israelites, they trying to pretend to be somebody they never met in these costumes, looking like they sheep herders. You know, I'm like, are you serious? Y'all like to dress up in these costumes and try to talk like you intelligent, copying dead folks. Then talk about how alive you are. How are you alive and you got coffin and casket dust falling off of you, pretending to be something that you never was? I can't do it. I can't do it. And anybody in their right mind is not going to do that. The so-called Negro in America, you are not Aboriginal. You are not African. You are your own unique people. Accept your own. Love yourself. Understand who you are. Use your own brain. That's over with. That's dead. Let the dead rest in peace. And on that note, peace, y'all. I'm Artie 5000, Angel Snub 7, the mighty one. This was and is the Reality's Temple on Earth.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Crispy Show, everybody. I'm broadcasting live from the Struggle Mansion, everybody. And my hairline is still fucked up, everybody. My hairline is still fucked up. Look at it. Anyway, everybody, Crispy is going through a hard time right now, everybody. Crispy is going through a depression, everybody. I'm going through some things, everybody.